I offered the guy $7.5 million. He told me he wanted $11 million. What's up, brother? How we doing?
Good.
Awesome. Just I'm doing great, man. Just wanted to follow up with you with two things. One, I don't know if you had a chance to look over the Randolph deal at all.
The Randolph deal.
The retail deal that we sent to.
Yeah, I mean, I'll show it to the partners.
You just
we haven't done much with it. Yeah, we haven't really done anything with it.
Okay. Yeah, I figured it might be a little bit on the high side, and it was either a hit or miss.
I think it's a little on the high side. Yeah. But I'll still give it a little bit of time. I just in the middle of other things. What's number two? And then number two is that I have the offers. I'm just waiting on signatures, but I have the text outlines if you just want that just for a quick once over. Sure.
If for a straight up deal based on where, obviously income is, they were looking at like a $7.5 million number. Probably can close in 60 days, but obviously banks take a little bit of time. We could do a $200K deposit ASAP. Obviously very interested in the deal. And then for seller financing, we were at $9 million with 30% down. And then I know my client said a 5-year loan at 4% IO, but I know that we can, and that would be probably a 30 to 45 day close. Obviously we can probably do a little bit lighter term on timeline.
I think neither offer is really going to do anything for us here, so.
For sure. I mean, do you have an idea of where we need to be? I mean, obviously, I want to try to get you as much as possible. I know they're obviously low to start, but.
There's not that much motivation to sell the building. If the number was like $10 million, we'd probably take it.
Okay.
But.
Do you think?
I'm not even going to counter this. I'm not.
No, it's fine. I'm just trying to get the conversation started, and obviously, we're very serious. This is right in our wheelhouse. So, just to clarify, if I were able to get you a $10 million number as is there a way that we could do maybe a few years of seller fi on the $10 million?
Not at 4%.
No, that's reasonable. Look, I laughed.
Maybe.
I laughed when he said that.
Yep, definitely not at 4%. Maybe I can't say 100% whether we would do it at all.
But it's not off. So and again, obviously I'm going to try to get you better terms for sure. But something like a $10 million as is. Obviously we still have some time for due diligence, just to make sure we understand what's going on. But an as is sale nonetheless, with it probably something like 30% down is pretty reasonable though, like $3 million down.
Again, I don't know. I mean, you got to have that paper and see.
No, for sure. What I'm saying is that I'm not saying you're accepting it. I'm more so asking you if this is at least something reasonable enough where you'd feel better going to the group and kind of getting an idea.
I just can't. I can't give you an answer on that.
That's okay. No, look.
We haven't even discussed we haven't discussed seller financing with internally. So I'm not even gonna.
That's fine. Now, look, again, I'm not expecting you to just say yes. That's not my point. I just I want to at least put something more reasonable, because you were saying you wouldn't even counter these, but something like that is at least not horrible enough that you would decline it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, look, why don't you find out what the best number is that he can do without seller financing? If it's 7.5, then
it's not worth it. Yeah, sure.
Obviously, we're not going to do that.
Yeah. I understand that.
But if there's a higher number there, let me know what it is.
Do you think there's a world, obviously considering the income isn't it's better than I do, considering what you own, that, getting this deal done at a 5 cap is going to be difficult, but it's possibly doable. If obviously we're going to put more money, 50% down or something like that. But do you think there's a world where this might get done with an as-is sale, no seller financing at around 9? Again, 100% as is.
Look, I mean, it'd be enough for us to at least be talking.
Okay. No, that's fair. Yeah. Again, I don't need you to say 100% yes. So, okay.
I mean, 9, yeah, right? Look, we can have a conversation if they're at that level.
I respect that. Okay, great. Well, look, I'm going to get it written up regardless. I at least just wanted to call you, have a quick conversation, kind of get a gauge of where we're at, and then we can kind of take things from there, okay?
All right, no problem.
Thanks, buddy. I'll get in touch with you shortly.
All right, thanks.
Bye. Okay, so this was a deal we're working on, large warehouse deal in New Jersey. Pretty interesting, right? Look, I like just being direct with people, right? Are we even having a conversation at night? I offered the guy $7.5 million. He told me he wanted $11 million, by the way. That's what he came back to me. He said he wanted $11 million. I just offered him $7.5 million. I talked to my guy. My guy was willing to pay 8, so that's why I offered him 7.5, by the way. So I offered him $7.5 million. My guy was willing to pay me 8. That's on a straight up sale, no seller financing, obviously. On a seller financing deal, my guy's willing to pay $9.5 million. I offered $9 million. Long story short, I want to make sure my compensation is safe, right? Like I want to make sure that I'm going to be paid a reasonable amount of money on it. And then when he says, listen, this is very common, guys. Like we present offers all the time. We come up with these starter offers, like I just mentioned, and they're nowhere near where we need to be. Totally normal, all normal. However, we're going to continue to push and say like, okay, where do we need to be? I'm not going to get off the phone with the guy. My entire intention, the whole purpose of these starter offers is to do what? Get a counter. We just want a counter of some sort. So when the guy comes back to me and says, I'm not going to counter it, I obviously need to do a little bit more digging in the conversation. And I got him to come back with, it needs to have at least 10 million on it. And then I even said to him back when he said 10 million, I was like, okay, be as direct as you need to be, but like, is there even a world where possibly if I got you a straight up as is deal at $9 million, do you think there's a deal to be had here? And the guy said, it's at least worth submitting for sure, right? Like, so it's not a yes, right? Like, but, because this guy is not the only decision maker. There's a couple other decision makers here. But long story short, like you got to just dig a little bit. You don't have, and preface it. Like, look, like, I don't know if I can even do it, but is it even worth our time? Is it worth, and just trying to dig a little bit deeper because a lot of people kind of just shut off and don't continue to ask the right questions. And that's why they don't get very far with these starter offers. Hey, Ed, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hey, it's Henry again. We spoke about the building in. How you doing?
Yeah, doing okay.
Okay, wonderful. Just wanted to follow up. I know we were talking about the numbers last time we spoke. I was at around $700,000, $8,000 triple net lease back for 18 to 24 months, and you wanted a week or so to think about it. I don't know if you had a chance to do so.
The rent for around here is probably high. I realize it's like a double-ended agreement. The other question is, I know you may be comfortable, doing things sight unseen or whatever, but do you normally have somebody take a look around or?
Yeah, but look, I would do that during due diligence, right? Like, I know the building, and I'd obviously send my contractor, I would send out, an inspector, everything during due diligence. But obviously I like to kind of talk terms and make sure things are sort of aligned mentally between the two of us before we even proceed to...
What type of, who would actually the deal be with? A company of yours?
It would be me. I would be buying it.
There'd be a personal name?
No, I would. It would be. Every property I buy is in an LLC. They kind of require that now. So, but yeah, it would be my LLC that would be going into contract. We would, agree to, the terms here, and then we would go into attorney review. Our attorneys chat. Let's say everything's good. We go to a due diligence period of roughly 45-ish days. 45 to 60 is very normal. We do some inspections. I'd spend a couple $1,000s on a property inspection, a couple $1,000s on a environmental inspection, have my contractor go out once or twice, make sure everything looks great, everything looks good, and then we'll close out due diligence, make sure everything moves along. I'll move to getting a loan. Obviously, I'm going to get a loan. I'm not going to pay.
Right, and if you feel you need to spend money on some type of repairs or whatever else,
unless it's crazy, I'm not going to come back to you. I also hold a license, right? Like I'm a licensed broker. I also buy a lot of properties myself. This would be for me, but I'm not like a lot of my clients who like to nickel and dime. The only thing I would ever come back to you and say, hey, I'm not going to pay for this if hypothetically the building's falling down, the environmentals are screwed up and there's like a major environmental issue, or like the roof is completely shot, the utilities are completely shot, like right. Things that clearly wouldn't be on a buyer in general, right? I own a number of properties. I know you own a few properties. Like if you were going to buy something, you wouldn't expect to just have to come out of pocket a ton of money to cover people's costs for, not maintaining their building, and obviously we'll just have a quick, we'll have an honest conversation, and also it either goes through or it doesn't, right? Like, and some, most of the time we can come to some type of resolution, and if not, it's no harm, no foul.
And I asked about the company, and in terms of third party, you would do some type of financing?
Yeah, I always get a mortgage. I don't see the reason in paying cash, especially when interest rates are this high. It's kind of insane,
But a previous comment was basically stating that, to me, it's simply cash. To be a cash closeout to the seller.
Yeah, it's not, you obviously know it's not going to be green in a bag, but it's going to be a wire at closing. It's not like the 1940s or 20s anymore.
Okay, well, and then at this point, did I get an email from you or just your cell number.
Hold on, I think I texted you. Hold on one second.
Why don't you let me get back to you?
Yeah, I texted you a follow-up note with all the details I sent you last time from last week. If you want, I can draft.
At this point, I'd also either, like, if I proceeded with something, would like to possibly clarify something or counteroffer an aspect of what you're proposing.
No, that obviously makes sense. I mean, look, I would say this. I sent you a text. If you can just, and I gave you my email in that text message. Okay. If you can, did you get my text? I think I can see that you read the last one. If you could just respond to me with your email, just text me back your email. I'll write up this offer via a letter of intent, and this way you can give that to your attorney, and we can try to move things forward.
And the LLC that you would
buy the property under.
You would create that at a future date.
Yeah, so typically I have like a holding company. I have a holdco that I put on every single letter of intent that I send out for myself, and then we create a separate entity that's owned by the other entity at closing. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So I'll draft that all up. You'll see it in writing. Just text me back your email, and I'll get you that letter of intent today. Is that fair?
Very good. Very good. Thank you very much, Henry.
Thank you so much.